Okay, so let's begin by reviewing what happened last week. That was some good times. So, honorable mention, they made their way from the spider's den into finding Nundro. As you guys walked inside of the priest quarters, you saw Nundro laying there on the bed, divining that it was actually, a relation to Gundren. You guys woke him up, gave him a little bit of healing, and then talked to him about issues and events that had transpired while he was, and the reason why he was here at the in the cave. Um, you find out that he has been sent here to try and empower Neverwinter. That Lord Neverember is trying to unite the peoples in Neverwinter City, and with such a place as the cavern, gold, gems, jewels, whatever might be had from this location, could help with the plight at Neverwinter. Um, let's see here. We learned a little bit about Nundro's being able to tell or decipher what was going on with the Black Spider as well. And then as the group moved along, you guys went into this little crevasse. Andromeda did some excellent swimming to pick up a pair of gloves, which were later divined to be uh, uh, gloves or gauntlets of ogre strength or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, pretty beefy and pretty nice. As she was coming out of the pool, you guys were all of a sudden surrounded by a drow and his bugbears. He was quite perturbed at seeing that the black spider had been killed, but using the quick reflexes, Sebastian was able to change himself back into Yarno and deceive this poor drow from basically learning that the Black Life Spider was forfeit due to his insolence. There was a conversation to be had between the Drow and Sebastian, but ultimately he was able to get them to stand down and believe that in fact um, Sebastian slash Iarno was now in charge. Um, as the party moved through the cavern, after dismissing these guys, or at least letting them to go around the cave and continue on with um, their duties, you guys went. You guys found a room, and within said room, we saw several people open the doors and walk away. Uh, Finally, Sebastian was able to look through and peer and find a messenger, an aberration of sorts, requesting his master Turgon's suggestion or help as to what to continue to do within what you now found to be the Forge of Spells. Um, After some very um, inadvertent intelligent thinking um, by vengeance. It inspired our core to produce darkness the within the cavern, which basically dismissed the spectator. If he's unable to see, he's unable to do his job, and he returned to his plane. Um, what else do we got here? Around this time, Winter and Andromeda are looking at a pretty room just to the south of uh, the Forge of Spells, and they see just this uh, immense glittering cave just to the south. They start to divine that there's this arcane magic that's been basically splattered and painted all over the walls. There's a bunch of skeletons and a lot of other things within that area as well. In the meantime, Vengeance, Sebastian, Thendril all go into the well and start looking around, start investigating. At which point, Vengeance finds a near replica of his old sword, of orc blood, and the body of Captain Agra within this chamber. Um, there's also a couple of events that transpired with the blue-green light that was sitting in this well area, an uncanopied well, but it looked like it was like part of the cavern. Um, the first thing that happened was Sebastian threw his shield through it, empowering it with some divine energy to increase its armor class. Um, Vengeance put his fist in it, giving him a little bit of boost to his unarmed attacks. And finally, Winter tried to put the Aether Oculi inside of the flame, and nothing happened. Our core divined inside of the room that there were a couple of very lawful good items that were sitting in the corner, and that the blue green light didn't give any good or evil aura away from it. It was, in fact, kind of neutral. At that point, you guys decided to take a short rest or a long rest just outside of the area, and yeah, that's where we find ourselves after taking a long rest. You guys wake up. The hut all of a sudden just dissipates, and you are waking up within this area of a shimmering cavern.
Oh, wow.
So,
I've got 2 swords now.
Nundro is no longer worse for wear. He looks a little bit good, even though he is pretty much a half naked man holding I believe it's a rabbit. Let's just say that he's half naked. But the poor unfortunate Nundro, now one less brother, unfortunately, and hanging out with the party. He's a little bit quiet and quite contemplative.
Did we need to investigate these shiny caves?
Andromeda and Winter kind of tell you guys what was up with what they discovered within the glittery caves. As you guys go towards this area, you do see just splatterings, and that's why you see all of this arcane energy that's all over the place. This energy was produced and created by just a splash and a shatter of arcane energy. It looks like somebody had just gone to like one of those Indian chalk throwing parties. Like there's just this detritus, this debris all over the place. Although you can't lick your finger and then get rid of the arcana. It is there and it's adhered to the walls. What would you like to do? Head down that way?
Yeah, let's go.
Seems as good as any direction.
Should we have somebody go down first in the sparkly stuff?
I'll go. And I'll charge down the stairs.
Okay. As you charge down the stairs, the ground doesn't look any different than it would in any other portion of the cavern. In fact, it is much like the big eating area that you guys had seen, many hours before, where you have very, very nice ornate walls, very nicely carved, very nicely etched, as if dwarves had entered, etched this whole location out of their own tools. As you look up on the ground, you see, just lots of calcified bones strewn out in all different directions.
Do they look like the other bodies we've seen before?
These ones are no. They are yeah, go ahead and give me just do just general intelligence.
$18.
18. There are a lot of elves. There are a lot of full elves, half elves that are strewn about all over the ground, and you can tell that by their head shape, by their physique. A lot leaner, a lot longer bone structure than if this was a dwarf or a gnome or anything else.
Sebastian, these look like elves.
Sebastian's just going to start gathering up the skeletons and putting them in a pile.
All right. As you guys head down this direction, yeah, there's this green light bioluminescence that you see down the hallway. Your passive investigation, Winter, like I said before, it kind of indicates like all of these bodies just like were, in one foul swoop, all dropped in place, all died in one location at the same time. The door that you see right here off to your left hand side is charred. It's wood. It's very, very nice old kind of elven wood, but it is charred, burnt almost to a crisp, to a cinder.
I'll go into the room while Sebastian's cleaning up or doing his rites and stuff for the bodies. Just want to investigate, see what's in here.
Okay. Sebastian, as you pile up all the bodies, you can't really differentiate between whether these are drow, whether these are high elves, whether they're wood elves. It could be a myriad of things. As you collect them and start to put them up, what do you want to do?
Once I have them all in a pile, I'll take my hands and just kind of put like a firebolt underneath them to catch them on fire.
Okay.
And then I'll just ask Corellon to take these elves and put them in peace.
Okay. Yeah, as you put them together, but after like 2 or 3 firebolts, you finally get a fire going. They're very, very calcified. They're not to the point of like going from bone to rock, like going petrified. It does take a long time, several hours, several days, to get these to change to black. But the process has started. Vengeance, as you walk into the room, you see a very black, very charred room. To your left, you see a bed. It is completely obliterated, completely annihilated. There's almost no remnants of what that bed used to look like, whether there was etchings on it or anything like that. It's charcoal. There's like, if there had been a mattress on it, it had been completely burnt to a crisp. You see just black all over on the floor. There's a shelf and a desk on the left hand side that's been completely obliterated. And as you look off to the right, I mean, this bed isn't here. It's actually supposed to be one of these shelves, or one of these what do you call them?
They're like dressers?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a dresser. Yeah, the dresser you see right here. It's not a dresser. It is it's a bookshelf. It's a tall bookshelf, but from the angle that this is kind of pointed at, half of the bookshelf has been completely kind of obliterated by whatever magic it was. But the left-hand side, the books look like they're intact and they look like they're okay. But yeah, it's almost like there was a huge explosion inside of this room.
Okay, can I investigate the bookshelf maybe? Trying to glean some information on maybe what may have happened.
Yeah, go ahead and give me an investigation check at the bookshelf.
Okay. Oh shoot, I just rolled it away. Sorry. That one is 8.
Anybody else going in there?
I would probably have joined them after I was done with the skeletons.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go too.
All right. So if you guys want to look at the at the bookshelf, give me an investigation check.
Investigation.
What are you looking at, Borak?
Half bookshelf, not dead.
Ooh.
Dirty 20.
30-20.
Me too.
All right. So the bookshelf, there's something funny about it. That's like the first thing that you see. As you start looking through all the books, Vengeance, can you read?
I mean, my intelligence modifier is -1. My score itself is 8.
Okay. So you
maybe small words. I'm still reading Dr. Seuss.
You see a book that says something. It starts with a J. Something in the dark. You see another book that says Tommy of, and then you can't read it, and then Tommy of, and then another Tommy of, and then you get to a word that starts with an A, and you stop reading it because you recognize that there's an S and an H and an A and an R, and they're all together, and you're like, and then you see another book that says Tommy, and then you see a word with a Y in the middle of it, and you're like, why would a Y be in the middle of a word? Like, it's only an end. Y belongs at the end of a word, not in the middle. And then you see one that's really, really long. In the meantime, Sebastian and Winter, you go up to the bookshelf and you see one interesting looking book that says Journey in the Dark. You also see a book that says Never Say Never Again. And then on the next shelf down, you see a book that says Tome of Thoughts. There's another one that says S. Cooper's Algorithm for Making Friends. And then you see another tome that says Tome of Understanding. You see one that says Tome of the Soul. You see a big book that is called The Ashari Guide to Nature. Battle checks and battle checks for the person that has nature at heart, something like that. There's also a book that says The Tome of Lute and Lyre by Danilo Gendarm, Geddarm. And then there's another book which is pretty short, but it's kind of to the point and has lots of descriptions and diagrams. And that one says Effective Methods of Murder. And then the last one is Elminster Almar's Guide to Strength Training.
Those scrolls that you said, or those like scrolls like you put in your bag, or like books?
They're books. They're big books.
Okay.
So is it? Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say I'm gonna grab the one How to Make Friends. I'm gonna kind of put it in Ven's backpack
Yes.
when he's not looking.
So S. Cooper's Algorithm for Making Friends is what it's called.
Yeah, that one.
Good firewood. This will make fires real good.
So is that book Lutes and Liars as in LOOTS and LIARS, or like the instruments?
The instruments. The Tome of Lute and Lyre, LUTE and LYRE, which is why Vengeance was like, Y's don't belong in middle of words. And it's written by Danilo Gendarm. Go ahead and give me a history check. Oh, and you too, Winter.
What?
History check.
Winter, can you do a history?
Oh.
Okay. Wait, were you
Me? Okay. Sorry, you confused me. Right?
16.
16. How about you, Andromeda?
6.
6. Winter, having lived in Waterdeep, you've heard of an individual at the Yawning Portal with the last name Gedarm, Geddarm.
Volo?
So are you saying that out loud?
Me?
Yeah, who said it out loud?
No. I'm saying it out loud as Michael because
Yeah, Winter. So that's what you recognize. You know that name from the Yawning Portal down in Waterdeep. Or you know the last name, not the first name. You're not aware of the first name.
Okay.
But you know it. There's a guy that lives in Neverwinter. His name's Volo, and he's a bard that lives in Waterdeep. And that's his last name. If you wanted to give me, you're more charisma, right? You're not really based off of intelligence, so, and we don't have any mage casters, so you wouldn't know Almar.
Yeah.
So as you start looking through all these books, let me know what you'd like to do with them. In the meantime, after you've entered and looked through the bookshelf, you see off to the right-hand side there is a box. I'm trying to remember what kind of thing it was made out of. 1 second. There is a scorched chest. A very, very, very scorched chest. Off to the right of this bookshelf as well. Padlock is on it. It basically looks untouched. Just all of the wood has been completely, burnt. But other than that, it looks fine. And as your vision is drawn to that, all of a sudden you see, hear, and perceive a presence begin to glide through the floor into the room, and you hear the words, "Why? Why are you here? Your presence offends me. Leave now, or your life will be forfeit." And this large specter enters the room, very ethereal, blue, luminescence around him. And he just hovers there. His hand gestures towards the front door, like as, "Leave my domain."
Is everybody hearing this?
Everybody hears this.
I'm just gonna growl at it, coming off of the high from the previous encounter, and be like, "You need to tell us where to go."
The specter looks old. He looks very warm, but not in life, just in his general countenance, spectral countenance.
Can I ask him who he is?
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check. As you say, who are you?
I got an 8.
8?
Yeah, I got a nat 1.
You nat 1?
Yeah, nat 1 plus 7.
Okay. That is none of your business. Any questions? I am not prepared to answer. And his general countenance then starts to change. He's worn, and he's worn out.
Sebastian will approach and I command you to identify yourself. In the name of Corellin.
At the sound of that name, go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
18.
With the sound of that name, he's intrigued. I am Mormisk, the once great wizard that lived here in the Wave Echo Cave. His demeanor is shifted. He's no longer like menacing or intimidated. He seems a little bit more, especially with that role. He seems a little bit more inquisitive. I have not seen a soul in hundreds of years.
Sebastian, you should ask him what the hell happened here.
Can you tell us what happened here? Why is there so many bodies?
In life, I was a wizard that lived in this domain. Great things once happened here. I lived among the Sildarine elves, and they helped to forge items within this cavern. After gnomes and dwarves excavated this cave years ago, they found a method of infusing the magical, the arcane, with the divine, using the forge of spells. And it was my charge to investigate further and to try and push the boundaries between the fusion of these two energies. I did live here, and I did help to fuse the forge with the items with the forge in this cave.
I'm going to look over Winter and request the orb. Winter,
What do you want with it?
give me the orb.
What do you want with it?
Give me the orb.
Give it back after I give it to you. Here you go. And I hand him the orb.
I'm going to take the orb and ask him, what is this orb and what was it meant for?
Where did you find the object that you possess?
That is not here nor there. Please answer the questions about it.
One must understand that the moment that we discovered the fusion of these energies, I took it upon myself to ensure the return of the wretched queen herself, the Dark Mother, the Weaver, Loth, the Queen of Spiders. It has long been known that there are protective objects within the realm that channel divine energy of protection throughout the cities of Faerun. One of these objects resides within Castle Never. I created that object in your hands to sullen, to spoil and corrupt said object in Castle Never. Unfortunately, the moment that I created the object, everyone was aware of my corrupted heart, and I had to escape. I had to escape this location, leaving behind all of my belongings, all of my research, everything, and the only thing that I could take with me was the object in your hands. I then placed it in a secret laboratory of my own design. Ironically enough, what did you say, Mikey?
Oh, we just went laboratory.
Laboratory. I was making my way. I hid the object in almost plain sight. It was in a special laboratory within one of the shrines of the Angharad. Unfortunately, upon my return to this cavern, I was quickly captured and was nearly put to death. Does that answer your question?
Why do people want the orb now?
I believe that I was the only person that knew anything about the orb. Why do you ask? Has somebody used it?
It's been protected, but there's interested parties looking for it. Where did you say you left your research notes?
The only research notes that I would have kept were in Mensoberanzen. And they would only have been within the hands of the High Priestess or of any followers of Loth.
What does it do?
It is an object of my own design. You see, this object once was used to communicate between one city to another. However, I quickly learned that the object itself had a divine power. That divine power could be swayed from good or evil. And the moment that we found the forge, I realized that not only could we procure items of the divine, but we could also corrupt the item to the evil. And that's what I did. I got my hands on the Aether Oculi. I corrupted it with the objective of returning to Castle Never and corrupting the protective power within the city.
How can I use this orb to communicate to another city?
I do not believe that power exists anymore. All the Aether Oculi that I am aware of was either lost or destroyed. It is an ancient power.
So not all the lost seeing stones are accounted for. You don't know who might be listening.
Pretty much.
Oh, awesome.
I gotta steal from somewhere.
It's true. The token's one of the best. Did you say that you work for Loth?
I am one of her followers.
I don't think we should carry the orb with us.
How would one cleanse or corrupt the objects fully?
I'm unaware of if there is any way of doing such a thing. Has somebody used the object to corrupt? Has my master been able to return?
How would this orb bring back your master? What power does it possess to do that?
There are 3 objects known within the realm that many, many years ago were created as a protective energy around Neverwinter City, around Waterdeep, and around Baldur's Gate. That protection was a divine connection between the gods, the good gods, and this object. By corrupting that power, we should be able to change the planes from the divine to the abyssal or to anywhere that we would like.
So by changing the planes, you could bring Loth back.
If that was the intention, yes.
So if I wanted to bring somebody back with this orb, how would I do it?
Unfortunately, I was never able to figure that part out. The moment that I created this tainted aether oculi, um, I was confronted. I luckily escaped at that time with my life. However, like I said, all of my notes and all of the tests that I had attempted here within the forge were lost. Um, in one last attempt, I utilized a secret passage to return. However, when I stepped into this room, I was met by an aberration who quickly alarmed everyone to my presence. I was stunned. I was nearly brought to the brink of death when I was confronted by a high group of elves just outside of this door. And in one last ditch effort to free myself, I destroyed me, but killed those around me as well. The essence of necromantic arcane energy that released from me took my life, but took those around me as well, and what I'm assuming quite possibly corrupted others within the cave. And then I returned back to this plane as a specter, doomed to go through its halls after all these years. Walk these halls.
Tell me, Spectre, how do we destroy the forge so that no more objects can be created?
The forge cannot be destroyed. Not by any means other than the divine.
I insight check him to see if he's telling me the truth on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, 15.
After having this conversation with him, with 15, I think you would probably realize by now that he is kind of boasting about all of the stuff that he's done. And he's really not. I don't think there's really any way that he's going to be able to tell you a lie.
Ego.
What's only
Like he's totally proud of everything.
Right.
Ugh.
Egotistical.
We'll look back at our core and look and say,
You're
Do you
looking
have
at him
questions?
right now. You're looking at Arcor right now.
yeah, I'm gonna look back towards our core.
He has a tear coming out of his eye. And he's holding the crescent moon symbol in his hand. And he says, "Do you have any other questions for this apparition?"
I'm gonna look at our core and I'm gonna send a message to his head in his head.
Sure.
And I'm just gonna say, you will have your vengeance soon enough. Be patient.
At this, the apparition, Mormesk is his name, sees the drow and turns to him and he says, "Descendant of Loth, the object that you see will secure our Majesty's reign over Faerun return this object to the Dark Sildarin. They must know that it exists, that there's a method of freeing our queen. He kind of bows his head. The tear keeps on streaming down his face as he holds the symbol.
I give Winter back the orb.
Is the crescent moon symbol the same one that's on
Yeah.
Sebastian's
Yes.
site or whatever? Okay. I'm like, Michael is going, should we be worried about this guy? But yeah.
I'll
Then
just-
it's like,
You want to
Say no.
insight check our core?
yeah, I'll insight check our core. I think we've insight checked him enough to know, but still.
What?
That is 7.
7. You're kind of taken aback at seeing like another human crying. You're like, what a wuss.
Right? He's talking about scary shit.
I'm gonna put the orb back in my bag of holding, but kind of like hold it a little closer to me.
Sure. Okay. And Mormisk just stands around there and do you like my book, my collection? It's wonderful, isn't it?
I'll tell Arcor in his head, go ahead. It's your time.
All right. What'd you say, Mikey?
I was singing Little Mermaid.
Was
Let it go, let it go. Oh no, sorry, that's not Little.
No, that's Frozen. I want to be where the people are, but it's really about you saying, do you like my collection? I've got thingamabobs. I got
Gotcha.
20.
Dork. One second. Okay, there we go. All right. So, Arcor holds the symbol close to himself, and he is going to try divine intervention to dismiss the specter, to dismiss Mormisk. Does anybody object as he holds up his hand and holds up the symbol? Let's go ahead and see what his D100 does.
I'd like to try to assist him.
Sure. All right, with an assist. 15. Wow. Okay. All of a sudden, you see like this flash of energy, like start to pulsate in the chest of Mormisk, as the divine light starts to grow bigger and bigger and bigger, and after the light recedes and the room starts to come back into clarity with you guys, there is no more Mormisk in front
I
of
was
us.
gonna say, as he's going out, I was gonna say, Corell and be with you.
Ooh, that's kind of neat.
It's like telling him to go to hell.
Yeah, pretty much. No, it's go to heaven.
It's true.
What would you guys like to do?
So that orb that we've been carrying around is a good and bad thing? Did I get that right?
I think it will be really bad if it gets into the wrong hands.
Right. Like it can make good stuff bad, but bad stuff good.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. We smash it.
That's good. That's a good question. Go ahead and roll me a d20, Mike.
Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna use this one. Just a straight D20 roll?
Yep.
18.
18. Arcor chimes in. I believe our orc friend is right. I believe it can turn. I believe it can turn from one to another, or from back and forth.
He like takes his hand and knocks his head. Goes, see, not just a paperweight.
Who was the? Yeah, it makes me wonder who the person that corrupted Neverwinter Castle Never was, because it kind of sounded to me like Mormisk wasn't the person that did it. He created the object, but I don't believe he's the one that corrupted Castle Never.
What about the mage guy who had it? Oh wait, you weren't there.
A mage guy had it.
Some wizard guy.
You're
He's
talking
supposed
you're talking about Phineas.
to-
I think so.
Yeah, you're talking about Phineas. And Sebastian would probably remember that, because I don't think it's been a month yet since we've seen him.
Yeah, we went from there, beelined it over to.
If you remember, Phineas was reading documentation that he found inside of that room, and he was troubled by some of the stuff that he had read. He was very like, what the heck is up with this object? He could not read it or figure anything out about it, but he did have documentation on certain stuff. In the meantime, your little changeling girl goes over to the locked chest, and she starts opening it. Oh, yep, she opened it. Okay. All of a sudden, right behind you guys, you hear a click, and padlock comes off, swings open, and there is this chest that she has just opened. And she looks over at you guys, and she's like, "Tesoro, tesoro," which is treasure in Spanish.
The gas station?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's called tesoro. Means treasure.
Oh, that's funny.
Sorry, that's exactly what Ven's response would be in real life. But he doesn't know what a Tesoro gas station is.
You mean the horse station, the stable?
Oh, yeah. The horse stable?
Where we
North
fill
of
up
Neverwinter?
where we fill up our horses?
Not like that either.
What is inside?
All right. Inside you find I'm just going to go ahead and transpose it into gold pieces, because I don't want to give you guys 1,100 copper pieces. So what's 1,100 copper pieces? 10 plus 10. So 550 gold pieces and 160 silver pieces. There are 3 diamonds inside, each 100 gold pieces.
I will take the diamonds.
A Winter, you would know what those diamonds are used for. If this guy was a wizard, he definitely would have been probably chromatic orbing those things. And then there is a wood pipe with a platinum filigree on the outside of it. So if you know a pipe swoop, right? There's ornate filigree of platinum all lining up and down. I cannot remember if I have a picture of said filigree. Let me check.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
I think I looked it up, but I don't think I actually took the picture. Let me check.
I think we should throw the coin to our little green
Nope.
friend.
I don't have it.
I don't think she's gotten a share in a while. You see, I'm gonna snag the diamonds though.
Other than that, yeah, there's that's what you find inside of this room. Anything else you want to do in here? Oh yeah, and which books did you take off the shelves? Just
Ash, did you take the Lutes and Liar book off the shelf? Yeah, Andromeda would have grabbed the Lutes and Liar book.
Give me a dexterity savings throw.
Oh, what?
Nah, I'm just kidding. All right, so Lutes and Lyre was taken off the shelf and it was given to Andromeda took it. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Did anybody else take anything else up?
I think as far as the gold's concerned, we should just divvy it up when we get back to the inn.
So you took the Tome of Thoughts off the shelf?
I took all of them. I'm gonna
Okay.
put them in my bag of holding.
Did you take the S. Cooper's algorithm for making friends?
Yep, I put that one in Ven's bag.
Tome of Understanding?
Yep.
Tome of the Soul? What's your intelligence?
My intelligence?
Yep.
Is 14.
14. Okay. The Tome of the Soul, just you pick it off the shelf and put it in your bag. The Ashari Guide to Nature.
I'll throw that one to Vendril.
Okay. So we'll give that one to Thendril. Effective Methods of Murder.
I'm gonna give that one to Ven as well.
You're going to give that one to Ven. Okay.
Or Borak, sorry.
And then
Same.
the last one is Elminster Almar's Guide to Strength Chaining.
I'll keep that one too.
As you go ahead.
I think we might have enough tinder for the fire. Why are we grabbing more of these nonsense? That one she has a Y in the middle of the word.
As you grab Never Say Never Again, who's got that one?
I'll grab that one.
Okay.
It's
As,
smut.
as you grab it, it partially opens up, and you start leafing through it. There is a loose piece of paper inside of it.
What is this? I'm gonna investigate it, I guess.
Okay. As you unfold the paper, and it is ridiculously old. You see, and this is very rudimentary, but that's okay. I'm not going all out. I'm not Matt Mercer. So you see this. You see a very ornate map. There's different landmarks that are all over the place, and then there's these little etchings that are on it. And then Journey in the Dark. Did anybody take that?
Yeah, I just have an armful of them.
All right. Well, the minute that you grab and you pull on Journey in the Dark, it stays put, and the bookshelf moves off to the side.
Ooh.
And all of a sudden you see down a dark cave, which your vision can't penetrate. Did you see that map, Winter? I put it in the heist planning chat.
Yeah.
It's pretty rudimentary, but I mean, the idea comes across.
Does this look like a map of secret passageways?
Go ahead and give me. Yeah, give me an intelligence roll.
No, they're places for croissants. See? There's still a croissant in Wave Echo Cave. We need to find.
16.
16?
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of get a good idea of looking at it, that with all of the landmarks that are on there, and all of the like etchings is kind of indicated that there is some kind of underground terrain or something like that Mormus must have been using to get into the Wave Echo Cave. And then, yeah, Sebastian, that passage that you just opened up, you can't even see down it. It is so pitch black.
I'm gonna snap my fingers and try to throw my dancing lights down there. Does it do anything?
Yeah, so you see just a bunch of stairs that are headed downward. At this point, you hear a group of people coming up from behind you.
How do you make an armor stand?
You hear a group of people coming up behind you,
How do I make
and we'll
that?
just put them right there. Boof. And the drow from earlier walks into the door, and he looks left and he looks right. He sees you, and he's like, Mr. Iarno? Captain,
Ebass, remember?
Sir, Seabass, thank you, sorry, Mr. Seabass. I'm here, we're here to report. We've thoroughly searched this cavern. We've already, obviously seen that you have been able to subdue the effects of the previous room, and that access to that room has now been achieved. At this, you see, especially with your passive perception, you see all the bugbears sitting there conversing, and they're all like dressed and packed, and they've got like their mace on their back, they've got their morning star like all packed up, and they're sitting there like they've got a bag of coins, and they're all counting the bag of coins. And the drow is basically our hired hands are basically, they feel like the goal has been achieved. Our priestess, our mistress, has been able to access the well, and yes, they are asking to return to their place of employment.
Great work, guys. I'm gonna pull out 100 gold pieces and give it to them. Distribute that to the guys, and all of you go back to your homes and families.
Okay, that gives them about 10 apiece for all of the bugbears.
Yeah, whoever's with them.
Winter, go ahead and give me a history check. I don't think. Yeah, anybody else that wants to do a history check, I'll.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. As you are now finally like looking at the bugbears like intently, you notice that they have the attire of the Bragan Darthy, which you recognize as mercenaries from Waterdeep. With a nat 20 specifically, you know that these are bugbears from Skullport, a town within Waterdeep, and since you grew up in Waterdeep, you're gonna know that it's a town that you can find in the Underdark, underneath Waterdeep. You're supposed to hold her, Mike. You're supposed to grab her. So yeah, then so all of a sudden, like all of the bugbears start to leave, start to scatter, as if like now their job is done. The drow is still standing there. Is there any word about what? The Black Spider didn't give me any information about what we were going to do after the fact. I assume.
What is your name, Drow?
My name is Eminem Maintor.
I'm gonna call you Eminem. Eminem, you now serve me and nobody else.
That very, very well. That sounds fine to me. What is it that you would have me do
You
then?
shall accompany us as one of my bodyguards.
Very well, very well, sir. That's fine.
Can I
Yeah,
pick up
just
a pebble and throw it at Sebastian?
say again.
I want to pick up a pebble and throw it at Sebastian to kind of get
All right.
his attention.
Go ahead and give me. I mean, it hits him. I mean, yeah. So all of a sudden you hear a ting behind you.
And I kind of want to just like look at him like, I don't want to bring him with us.
Our core comes up and he kind of addresses that as he's like, well, I mean, we don't want him returning to Menso Beranza, do we?
I will touch his forehead with my hand and send a message to him and say, I feel there's more information we can get out of him, possibly about the Blacks or the Spider Queen City.
Obviously. Okay.
No one says we have to get him all the way back to where we're going.
Okay. So yeah, Eminem is now, he will do your bidding, as is. At this, you kind of hear Nundro chime in. I mean, I've had a terrible ordeal. I'd really like to get back to Phandelver, if it is okay with everyone. However, I really don't feel all that sure that I'll be able to return in safety. I mean, I'll follow you wherever you wish to go. It's just, I mean, I'm sure that Gundren will want to know about Tharden and the events that have transpired.
I think Phandelver makes the most sense. Should we head there now? Look over to Sebastian, kind of give him like a weird look of like, why do we keep finding lost puppies?
I found a map that looks like there's some secret passages that might lead us back there. Or if you want to go on the top side.
That could be fun. Where's the passage?
I think Sebastian found it.
Yeah, so the bookshelf had just moved off to the side, and yeah, now you see like this dark cavern. Even with your sight, Vengeance, you can hardly see 10 feet into the cave. It's pitch black.
All right.
I want to ask Eminem, where are the notes for the orb that we are looking for?
The oats, the notes for the orb that we were,
The notes for the orb we have.
I do apologize, sir, but I take orders. At this, he changes his form. He's a changeling. He changes his form to look like the Black Spider. He's I do apologize. I am a decoy, sir. Like I don't know if you were aware of what my position was supposed to do, but like I'm just in case anybody got to the Black Spider, I was supposed to ensure that I led those individuals astray.
Very well.
But
Yep.
any knowledge of notes or unfortunately, all I know is that our commands come from the High Priestess, and that High Priestess is Leanthe.
Is she still in the Spider City?
Yeah, and at this you'll kind of feel a nudge from our core. Like, yeah, this is the same individual of which I speak is spoken of. She used to be my my priestess until recently.
Very well. Eminem, your services are no longer needed. Return to your family. And speak of nothing in this cave.
Let me go ahead and give Arcor a history check really quick. 1 second. Which is unfortunate because he doesn't have very good history. 16. He recognizes Eminem's last name, and they're not really of very high repute in the city of Mensoberranzan. Are you suggesting that he should return to Mensoberranzan? You hear this from Arcor.
Could he not?
No. Well, what if he speaks with the High Priestess and he finds out what's occurred here?
Okay.
It's difficult to say.
I'll turn. I'll put my hand on Eminem's shoulder and say, "Thank you once again." And I'm going to cast Inflict Wound on him at 3rd level.
Go ahead and roll to attack with advantage. And yeah, it's probably been about 20 minutes since the bugbears left, so I think you should be okay.
18.
18 does hit. Yeah, go ahead and roll for damage.
Are you transcending somewhere? Like, what are you?
That's 29.
29 points of damage?
Why
Yeah.
are you so
1 second.
loud? Stop! Stop saying it's skeleton. Stop saying skeleton. Maybe we'll help you with that.
All right. Yeah, unfortunately, he's still alive.
You're the rat.
Does anybody else want to attempt anything? 29 points of damage?
Jeez. Just as he goes to like put his arm on his shoulder or something, I was going to lean up and say something along the lines of like, "Do you think it's smart to leave him alive with all this information?" But probably doesn't matter now.
All right. So yeah, he immediately pulls out his short sword. Looks like, yeah. He immediately pulls out his short sword, and yeah, go ahead and roll initiative.
$11.
5.
A lot of high rollers.
Eight.
Oh, Earth guy.
And Andromeda got
You saying it like the
4.
Vulture.
Oh man, holy crap! That's some low rolls, man. Yeah, all of a sudden, Arcor also pulls out his sword. A little apprehensive, but he knows that this may have to be done, right? And then I'll give Thendril and Larna their little thing. Okay. 14 from Larna. And 18. Well, all right. 1 second.
Ouch.
Mic off. Mic
All right.
on.
All right. So Thendril is the first to go. All right. So where did I put that boy? Man, it's a lot, guys. There he is. Shoot. Get rid of it. All right. Here we go. Oh, shoot. That's why.
Tanner didn't sound like he had a great.
All right. So you go up and you pat him on the shoulder and cause the hurtful wounds. After which, Thendril all of a sudden pokes at him with his spider staff with a 19 to hit, which does hit. That does 9 points of bludgeoning damage. All right. And then next in line is... next in line is Arcor. And with a little bit of pain in his eyes, you see him pull out his rapier and take a couple of slashes. 14 does hit. That's his AC. Does 12 points of damage. And his next one more attack with the rapier. He does another 7 points of damage, and it is Winter's turn.
Winter? I thought she rolled like a 5.
Winter got...
Yeah, I rolled a 5.
Oh, sorry. No, it's actually Sebastian's turn.
Okay. Oh, look at him.
So yeah, basically, like, he has been like drained of life. You see like all these black veins just all of a sudden move towards your hand. You see 2 rapier pokes from Sebastian, and then a poke in the face from Thendril, and he is just basically down on one knee, looking up at you, and the realization is beyond his face. He just closes his eyes as he looks towards you. And so anything you do has advantage.
I'm going to kneel down and take his hand and say, "This is nothing personal, but Corellin is waiting for you." And then I will just take my crescent scythe, and I'm going to just kind of put it up to his neck.
Don't take it personally. Are you kidding me? I don't follow Corellin. Like, it's Loth, man. I'm down with Loth. Of course I'm going to take it personally. But yeah, go ahead and slit his throat.
And then I'm going to use the Lightbringer weapon that I just got, actually.
Oh, you want to do the mace?
Yeah, the mace.
Lightbringer's a mace.
Okay, then I won't do his throat. I'll just take him out.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to attack. You have advantage. Yeah, it will hit.
So the 30-20.
And 8 points of damage will do it. How do you do this?
Just going to be nice and clean over the top of the head to make him go to sleep peacefully.
All right. As you guys stand over this poor, unfortunate individual, having been, loyal to a fault, he now lays dead in the room of Mormisk, the once elf wizard.
Good cleanup. We can't have anybody knowing what was down here. He mentioned something about the priestess having access to the forge.
This is not a good cleanup. He would have been fine to leave. Instead, we had to take his life.
I'll kill him for you, Jay.
I mean, his life for what's Lolth's goal? Do you want to kill everybody? I'd kill him all day.
He was loyal.
We can save everyone.
This is what loyalty does. It makes individuals into expendables. And it's necessary and it's sad at the same time.
I'm gonna reach down and see if he had any like orders or notes or anything from the Black Spider previously.
Go ahead and give me an investigation check. That Andromeda?
What?
Saying stuff, or is that Ashley?
Oh, Ashley's saying stuff. I thought I was muted. My bad.
Natural one.
Natural one. So you start patting around on his body, and after a few seconds, you're kind of demoralized by what's gone on right here. Like you know it's right, but you also know it's wrong. Like it's one of those philosophical conundrums that you're too racked inside of your brain to realize the complete necessity, but also the utter morality of of the whole thing, and you kind of just give up. But yeah, his attire looks almost very similar to what our core is wearing from a iconography kind of standpoint.
I'm just gonna pick him up and lay him on the bed.
Okay.
And then set it ablaze.
Pick him up, lay him on the bed, and light it ablaze. And his body starts going up in a flame. No problem. Within a few minutes, he looks like the charcoal remains that you guys had just barely seen when you got here earlier. Go ahead, Mike. What did you say? You're muted. You're muted, Mike.
Sorry, my speaker's cut out.
Oh.
Have a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
So we missed stuff. My bad.
Oh, all good.
I'm holding myself.
So yeah, our core is kind of like in contemplation of what has just transpired, and he goes up towards the secret door, and
I'm a soul.
I think I can smooth things over upon returning home. I don't know if I have enough evidence to be able to
I will kill his panda.
bring our priestess to justice, but there at least I have to try.
What do you mean? How?
I believe this might be the way down to the Underdark. If not, I can always make my way home on foot. You're welcome to join me if you'd like to. But I also know that you have your little dwarf friend over there ready to go home.
We should ensure he gets home safely before any of us depart.
He walks up to Vengeance, and
Yes, he can. He can very much.
you are a breath of fresh air, my friend. You have proven yourself in battle. You are worthy of the weapon that you wield. You will be my captain if ever you call. And he puts his hand and smacks it a couple of times on his chainmail.
I'll do the same. Respect.
He moves on over to Winter.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
I respect your intelligence. You are knowledgeable about many things, and I appreciate the jigsaw puzzles we've had to complete together over this last little while. Again, like I've said before, I'm not too good at putting two and two together, but you've been a inspiration.
Thank you.
He moves on to, says a couple things to Larna and to Thendril. Then he moves on to Sebastian.
Buried in the ground.
He holds his symbol of the protector, and I'm glad we had our little talk, our little discussion. It's helped clear my head, but at the same time, it's been difficult. I hope that your journey isn't as difficult as mine has been, and it's nice to have found a brother, even one so metallic as yourself.
Drow, I wanted to kill you, but I look at you as a friend now. You've earned my respect.
It's what's inside, isn't it? It's definitely what's inside that counts. This life is full of ups and downs, full of left and right. But actions speak a lot louder than words or ideas. He turns around and he starts gathering up a few of his things. And he turns around one last time and salutes everybody as he ducks down the passage and starts going down into the Underdark.
I know where your hand.
And you see our core leave the group.
I know where you've been.
Oh, poor buddy.
All right, what would you guys like to do?
Let's get this dwarf home.
All right.
Yes. Through the tunnels, Winter. You know the way.
All right. As you guys return through the tunnels, basically you've explored the entire place. Each area that you start to go through is recognizable as the rest. You walk past the Forge of Spells. The doors are shut. The flame is still alit, as you had seen before. And you head on down through the smelter, through the mess hall, if you will, and then to the front gates, or the front area that is 20 feet up into the air.
Is there anything else we needed to do before we leave?
Hey, can we go?
I think we investigated everywhere, yeah?
That's like literally an hour ago.
Sally forth.
All right.
I have left the game.
So, Winter, did you want to assist?
Yeah.
All right. So as Winter, creates a couple of little areas to be able to scamper up, and Sebastian has his jumping boots. I think he can get up there pretty easily. You guys get to the front of the cave and start heading your way back to Phandelver. As you come out of the cave, like I described before, we had the slippery rocks that headed down into this valley area, and you guys are actually able to ride that wave down into the valley. as you start to head west. Right now, it is about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon, and you guys get to that little barrier between when you started seeing the hills turn into mountains, and uh, you started getting into that hilly area where the grass is about 2 or 3 feet high, and as you head west, um, uh, skies look pretty blue. There's birds chirping every so often. And I think within about 5 hours, you guys should make it back to Phandelver. Who's going to take lead?
I'm happy to take lead.
Just go ahead and give me a general intelligence check.
That'll be an 18.
18? All right. Whatever it is, like you just kind of like, oh yeah, it's like the sun was there and now it's there. It should be this way. And you start heading west, and everybody starts to follow Vengeance.
Crazy stuff, huh? Ever feel like we're getting a little over our heads? Talking to the group in general.
Always.
I came down here looking for people to go back and kill orcs. Didn't know I'd kill orcs here. Didn't know I'd stumble on divine weird stuff. Orbs. Glad it's with you guys.
All right, as you guys start heading west, after about 4 hours, you come upon a pretty similar, recognizable sight. You see a large, large hill area that you guys recognize as the vacated mansion, or what had then been the ruffian hideout, and you are just minutes away from returning home.
Should we go check in on what's his name? Jason?
Jason,
the guy we left in charge of the
are in.
Yeah.
Jason's in Conneberry. The guy that's at your inn is
Eck.
Eck should be there. At
What's
the Sleeping Giant.
Droop and Eck.
Yeah. Let's get Nundro back to his brother.
Okay, as you guys walk into town, heading, coming from the east, you wrap around that mountainous area where the ruffian hideout was at, that you had gone to several weeks before this. And as it wraps around, you guys get onto the main pathway that will take you not only by the Sleeping Giant, but it will also take you by the main inn, which was called, if I can't remember what. The Stonehill Inn. Right next to the Stonehill Inn, like you know already, this is the town master's hall. It's about 7 o'clock, and you see several patrons walking in of the Stone Mountain Hall. Stonehill Inn. You also see quite a few people walking in and out of your Sleeping Giant, as if there's food to be had at that location as well. You get to the central area. Well, for the sake of doing it, I'll just pop it up. Take a second. All right.
All about ray tracing.
Yeah. It doesn't help that I'm recording something. But as you guys get to the center of town, you see people running in and out of all these different little places, getting meals, doing other things. You haven't really seen anybody that you recognize. I mean, there's a couple of recognizable faces from people that you've seen before in town, but not as much as you don't see Sildar yet. You haven't seen Halia yet. You pass by the uh, not Barthen's, the other one,
Lion Shield?
Lion Shield Coster. Yeah, you pass by Lion Shield Coster, and yeah, you recognize some people. But as you head down towards the south, you guys make it to the mining company, and yeah, standing right outside is Gundren, and within a few seconds, you see Nundro and Gundren embrace and start to talk. Nondescript, conversation that they're having is you see Gundren kind of shake his head and bow his hands into his head as he learns the news of the demise of his brother. What was his name? Tharden. Of Tharden's demise. They embrace, pat each other on the back, and they look towards the group, and you see Gundren wave his hand at you guys in thanks, and then they head indoors. All right, what would you guys like to do?
What should we do about the forge and the orb? You two?
We shall worry about that tomorrow. Tonight we feast and we have good company.
I will not turn that down. Should we go back to our inn? It looks like it's bustling.
Yes, I need to go check on my friend Zach and Droop.
Try some of that goblin grog.
Winter.
Yeah, let's head back there.
All right, as you guys head back, once again, you don't see very many people as you're passing by. Actually, Barthen is coming out of the inn after having a nice little dinner. He's like, "Oh, it's a pleasure to see you guys once again. I see that you've returned. Man, whatever you guys did in Canterbury, I am very, very grateful. It's amazing what you guys are able to accomplish in mere weeks, which are, sorry to say, but these shoddy army or whatever they might call themselves, these guardsmen, aren't doing nearly as much as you seem to be accomplishing. Um, I've been hearing that you guys now have a moniker about yourselves. The honorable mention. Fantastic. I love it. But we've opened up passage once again, not only through here, but through Canterbury and through Tribor, which we are very grateful for that. Next time you're in town, let me know. Drinks are on me.
We're in town right now.
Oh, yes. And he goes inside, comes out a few seconds later as you guys are standing right in front of the Stonehale Inn, having a pint really quickly. Cheers to you. Cheers to honorable mention.
Sebastian will like raise his glass and kind of like toss it over his shoulder when everybody's drinking.
Can't do much there, can you?
Yeah.
Well, good evening. Good evening. You guys have a great evening. It was wonderful to see you again. And Barthen turns around, starts heading north back to his own house. As you guys head east, still don't see Thendril. As you look over to the town hall, you don't see any lights on or anything like that. You're not sure where Sildar is, and you come upon your own sleeping giant inn, and yeah, sure enough, Eck is there, and his was it Eck and his wife and his kid.
Yeah, brought his family back and Droop and whoever else they brought.
You do not see Droop, but you see Eck and his wife. I believe it was Eck and his wife, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure we get our canon right.
60% sure.
So you see Eck and his wife, and ex-wife is going around to all these different tables, and nobody nobody pays attention to the fact that she is a goblin. You don't see their kid, but you see Eck in there as well, and he's pouring some drinks behind the bar. Let's say. As you guys walk in, and you're kind of dusty, you're kind of grimy. It's been a little while. It's been a while since you guys have had any type of bath or anything like that.
Covered with
And
some
Eck walks up to you and he's like, "Good day again, masters. It's a pleasure to see you alive and well again. As you can tell, everything is thriving. Everything looks wonderful. Unsure if you want to talk about the financials tonight, but it's hopping, as you humans would say. Everything is looking good.
Eck, I'm sure you did a great job. We're not worried about the financials. Are you and your family faring well?
He bows one more time, hands aflayed. Yes, we are doing very well. Thank you very much. Your instructions, whatever it was that you said to Sildar all those weeks ago, they were very to the point. People are very, very generous to us. We have our own little hovel. We have our own little house that just out to the. And don't worry, it is small, but so are we. It's perfectly fine. It is adequate, and we do very well for ourselves. We are very grateful for what you've been able to do for us.
And what of Droop, Eck?
Um, I have not seen Droop since he left that one day that you told him to leave.
Do you know if he made it home to his family safely?
One can only hope. I've been too busy, I guess, to really think about it. I do hope he is doing well, though. I really do like Droop. I wouldn't wish that anything bad to happen to him.
Why don't we send a messenger to Droop's locations for confirmation of
Oh,
arrival?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Dear, and
Tomorrow's
you and
fine,
and you
Eck.
yeah, you hear like this guttural sound, like when he calls to his wife, like this, hey, hey, yeah, like them talking gobbledygook or whatever it is. And she turns around, and then after you say, we can do it, he's like, oh yes, first thing, we'll have somebody dispatched to see if they can find Droop. Yes, that would be great.
Eck, for now, a table for my friends and I, and bring us a nice feast and the strongest drinks that we have.
All right, so Thendril, Larna, Sebastian, Winter, Vengeance. Am I missing anybody? Andromeda.
Andromeda.
All go in the back. There is a there's very round table that is already dusted off, already cleaned up for you guys, and you sit down to have a drink. You see a couple people throwing some darts. You see a couple of people over in the corner throwing some dice. You see a couple of dwarves that are looks like they're having their own little drinking contest. You take in the scene and you're kind of realizing just how dusty and grimy you guys look after such a long adventure.
Maybe we should clean up before some festivities.
I'll cast prestidigitation on us to make us look good.
Okay, so after just a few seconds, like all of a sudden, poof, like air and like all this dust and stuff like that just vanishes from everybody's attire, and their hair gets done a little bit better, and yeah, you don't look as grimy, but you probably feel you still feel a little bit icky, even though you look a lot better now.
Eck, could we have a vat of hot oil in the upstairs that I may bathe in?
Right away, sir. Yes, it will only take about 30 minutes to get the oil heated and up and running. And he immediately dashes off, doof, like a shot. Goes over, starts building the fire to put underneath some hot oil to heat up. Ex-wife brings over a bunch of drinks. She's so small, but she's still able to take like all 6 drinks all in one hand, and all of a sudden you see, poof, like just appear out of nowhere these 6 drinks on the table, and she doesn't help disperse them, but I mean they're there. They got there unspilled.
Sweet. I'll take one and down it.
I'll walk over and just grab a keg and set it in front of Borak.
All right, keg is tapped. Borak is just sitting over there. Do you want to try and lift up the whole entire keg and drink it, Borak, or yeah, Vincent?
No, I'll be
Go for it, War
polite
Chief.
and do the customs, and I'll fill up my own and keep going.
Okay.
That is not how a war chief drinks.
What would you know about a civilized war chief, machine?
I've been around for a while.
Trying to decide if I take that dirty or not, but it's not worth the effort right now. Tired. But what are our next moves? We sort of got roped into this in a weird roundabout way. Do we just tell Sildar tomorrow?
We talked to Sildar about our adventures, and then maybe we take a trip to the swell. Figure out if there's any unfinished business there.
Oh, that's right. We needed to go do something over there.
Yeah. But I think we should take a day or two here to recover.
In the background, you start to hear a couple of humans. They're not talking necessarily loudly, but you do kind of get the glimpse of their conversation, and it's yeah, yeah. You wouldn't believe the story that just came out of Tribor. Apparently, something's going on down in Waterdeep. It's the strangest thing that I've ever heard. And even though that's a strange story, what just happened in Tribor the other day is even weirder. So, down in Waterdeep, they have this guy that works at the House of Wonders. Well, apparently, he went insane and he tried to kill some of his pupils. He actually conjured a meteor shower in the building and ruined some of like the oldest standing things in the House of Wonders down there in Waterdeep. Well, they took him and they locked him up somewhere over in Silvery Moon. Well, to make things weirder, I heard that just last week there was an attempt on his replacement's life. Like, isn't that just bizarre? That like 2 things would happen about regarding the same like person. And the other person is the other guy that's sending this to is like, yeah, that's kind of weird, but things that happen down in Waterdeep, people die. There's all kinds of stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but I mean, this guy takes care of some of like the oldest relics known in Waterdeep. It's like all of a sudden he goes insane. It's just really weird.
And I'm able to hear this.
Yeah, you're able to hear it with your passive perception. Winter is, but Vengeance, yeah, you're about 2.5 sheets.
Can I walk up to them and ask them if they know the guy's name?
So
Or I
you
guess
walk
would
up,
I know him?
you walk up to the humans.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you walk up, they're like, "Hey, are you looking for some company tonight, little lady?"
Very funny. No. Who are you talking about?
Go ahead, give me a persuasion check.
19.
Man, that's why you have a sorceress in your campaign.
It's all about those magical artifacts and power. I'm going to start picking up the keg now. I'm a few in, getting a little bit more vigorous. Okay. But continue.
He kind of like shudders at your abruptness, and he's like, "Yeah, well, the person that they sent up to Silvery Moon, his name was Reinzen Halnian. Have you ever heard of him?"
Would I know him?
Go ahead and give me a history check.
18.
18. So yeah, you would know him as the proprietor of Waterdeep's House of Wonders. So yeah, they took Reinzen up to Silvery Moon to kind of get his head on straight to try and find out what was going on with him. So one of his proteges, he took over for him. The protege is Tenora Hedare. He's in charge now, but yeah, like I'm from Tribor, by the way. Have you ever been to Tribor, young lady? It's nice. It's somewhere nice to settle down. If you were ever thinking about settling down with anybody.
I just kind of roll my eyes and then just, what's going on in Tribor?
Well, I mean, fine, but so anyway, so there was a caravan taking this woman, this man, Tenora Hidari. Actually, I don't think I've given them a gender yet. I'm gonna go ahead and say female. So yeah, they were taking this woman, Tenora Hidari, up to Silvery Moon so that she could help the elves examine Reinzen a little bit better. And anyway, on Tenora's return from Silvery Moon, there was an ambush just outside of Tribor to try and kill her. I heard that some drow were involved, but yeah, I wasn't there, so I can't really tell whether it's true or not. But yeah, funny enough that this Tenora Hidari now is the proprietor of the House of Wonders up over in Waterdeep.
That's interesting information. Thank you.
I mean, at least stay for a drink. I mean, you're so mysterious, and I mean, I'm only in town for a night. What'd you say?
I said at that point, Sebastian will stand up with his eyes red and kind of walk over to Winter.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I like to stay mysterious, and then I'll walk away.
Right at this time, Ek shows up and like he's like gingerly like not knocking on your metal legs I've I've got your oil ready, Mister Sebastian.
Thank you, Ek.
You see a couple of guys throwing darts over in the corner. It looks like some guys are playing the old three dragon ante, the one that you played a little while ago, Sebastian. All right.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to do?
I'm gonna walk up to my oil bath, and that'll be it for Sebastian.
All right.
Once I finish off that keg, I'll go and clean up and go to bed as well.
All right. Thendril and Larna head out to bed as well. And yeah, Winter, well, what are you going to do?
I'll hang out in the bar for a little bit longer, see if I can eavesdrop on any more conversations.
Good. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
I'll have Andromeda give you Bardic Inspiration as well. And just kind of hang out with you.
At the D7.
It's a D8.
D8.
S- 16.
Okay, you hear a couple of dwarves over on the side. It's like, yeah, it's the strangest thing. It was the strangest thing. There were like 20 orcs walking north just outside of Tribor. They walked straight through the town, and they didn't do anything. It was the weirdest thing ever. Like, they just started headed towards Longsaddle. They I mean, they didn't say anything. They weren't nice or anything like that, but they didn't do anything. It was the weirdest thing. And then you hear a couple of halflings on the other side, and you recognize them because they are people that live in the town. One of them is talking about Sildar. It's like, yeah, he just left Neverwinter City just about a week ago, and I believe he was going to go talk to Degalt. He had some things to discuss with him. So yes, in the meantime, yes, he's made me his scribe. It's been wonderful. Like, all I do now, I don't have to work out in the fields or do anything like that all day. All I have to do is just write down his agenda. It's really easy. It's fun being Sildar's scribe. And that's kind of the general gist of the stuff that you start hearing in the pub.
Okay, I guess I'll go up to bed.
All right. Gets a little bit later. We're probably around 11 o'clock right now when you head up to bed. So everybody can go ahead and take their long rest.
Ashley wanted me to make sure that during this long rest, Andromeda can attune to her sword.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, she is attuned to the sword.
What a good cave adventure.
Is Ashley there?
No, she took Bennett upstairs.
Okay. I'll have to do her dream later then.
Okay, I'll let her know.
Okay. You can't attune to something evil and something not happen.
Seriously though, it'll be epic.
All right, you guys get a perfectly fine rest. By 6 a.m., you've got hot water just outside of your rooms, all except for Sebastian. You've got some nice robes and water ready for bath. Um, Sebastian, by like 6:15, you've got Eck knocking on your door, and he, yes. So I've got the courier ready to head out to try and find Droop. Um, is there anything in particular that you want them to say in a note or anything like that, sir, Mister Sebastian?
Just an invitation for him and his family to come and work. Should you need the help, Eck?
Oh,
If
sure.
he is good there, then just confirmation that he's alive and well.
Okay. So I believe that they said it's going to be about 5 copper pieces to send that courier, and then 1 silver piece extra for incidentals, uh, in case their courier gets killed.
Eck, 5 gold.
Uh, uh, um, I'll bring back the change, and you see him scurry down the hall and
Don't give
downstairs.
him any change, Eck. Make it have him hurry as a priority with it.
Oh, yes, that's better than me putting it in my pocket. Yes, sorry. And then he scurries downstairs. Yeah. All right. As you guys get up, you see ex-wife downstairs. She's making meals. There's not much going on. There's no halflings. There's no dwarves. Everybody that was there last night was, you know, taking it easy after long day's hard work. So there's hardly anybody. What would you guys like to do?
That's a good question.
Sebastian's going to go very detail oil and repair himself up in his room.
Okay. So repairing yourself up repairing yourself up in the room. Okay. Actually, let's go ahead and. I mean, is there anything in particular that you have to do to yourself to improve your status? Not really, is there?
No, I'm just basically kind of getting the scrapes and scuffs out, maybe fixing some paint and.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Go ahead and do a performance roll. See how well you can do it.
18.
Okay. Yeah. Did so any scraped off paint or any dents or something like that? You actually do a really good job at banging those dents out, at repairing yourself, at putting paint on that looks like almost identical to what you looked like before. Winter, where are you at?
I guess I'm in the main little bar area.
All right. Fendril and Larna come downstairs, and Larna, you can tell, is getting a little bit antsy because all the food that gets put in front of her, she just stabs with a dagger and then just starts eating it, sliding it off of the dagger. Like eggs come out already peeled. She's just sitting there meticulously eating her breakfast. Thendril has a really big, gaudy book in front of himself. It is about this big, and on the binding it says the what did I call it? It was
something about nature. Was that?
Yeah. He is reading the Ashtari Guide to Nature, and he's only about this much way through it. And I'll go ahead and give him his How do you suck up a book? Wisdom or intelligence? Probably intelligence.
Intelligence.
So let's say he gets an hour into the book, and yeah, he rolled a 16. So yeah, he starts comprehending the book a little bit. He's like, "Oh, this is interesting. I didn't know that there was a whole section on aberrations." And he's yeah, right here. That thing that we ran into, it's a spectator. Did you know that? Not only was it a spectator, but I'm able to tell you. And he flips through everything. He's like, this is really interesting. So it seems to have like all of these eyes all over all over its body, and each one of them can do like all of these different things.
That's a lot of information.
And he's like, "Oh, that's interesting. Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, it you can't pin it down. It has an immunity to being but put down to being prone. And oh, that's interesting. Yep, it looks like our core was right. Right here it says that if the eyes can't see anymore, that it can't do its job." And so he's reading through this big old huge book, and apparently he started in the A's because he's in aberrations. All right, as you guys are eating breakfast, what are you doing, Vegets?
Nothing special this morning. Probably fighting off a hangover.
All right, go ahead and give me a Constitution roll.
Oh, that's pretty good. Con. 21.
Oh yeah. Like you actually kind of feel like you're 10 years younger. You're like, man, I took that I took that hangover really well. That I could drink twice as much tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna whip out that book, one of the books that Sebastian stuck in my backpack, and put it out on the table and try and read it. Feeling really confident this morning.
All right. Which one are you taking out?
Random. He put 2 in my backpack, I think.
Okay, 1 second. 1, 2. Yeah, so he put effective methods of murder. And what other one did you do, Sebastian?
And then the Guide to Making Friends.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's S. Cooper's algorithm for making friends.
Yeah, I'll need to add these. Let's see. I'm just gonna roll a d4. Odd or even? It's odd. So the first one, the murder. Guide to murder.
Yeah, effective methods of murder. You start reading it and you start realizing some of the information in it is a little bit too descriptive for your taste. Like you start learning about different areas of the body that are vulnerable to piercing damage and slashing damage, and being able to get the most out of an attack.
Mm-hmm. What was the other book called?
So the other book is S. Cooper's Algorithm for Making Friends. The other books are Tome of Thoughts, Tome of Understanding. There's one that's called Tome of the Soul. There is the Tome of Lute and Lyre. And then there's Elminster Almar's Guide to Strength Training. And if you were a really big geek, you would realize how ironic that last one is.
Yeah, it's over my head. Awesome. That's all I'll be doing. I'm not sure what Andromeda would be doing. Maybe making sarcastic comments.
All right. So as you got all of you guys are sitting down eating breakfast, and within I'd say about 45 minutes of you guys sitting down, all of a sudden in the doorway of the Sleeping Giant Inn walks in a wizard that you haven't been familiar with for quite some time. It's Phineas. And that's where we'll end tonight.
Hola? It's awesome. Thanks for the session, John.
Not bad, huh?
Good.
I wanted